All right, so this next story we have out of Calgary, and it happened at the Calgary Stampede. One of, Calgary MP's, Hallen, his pancake breakfast, which was a public event that happened during the Calgary Stampede last weekend. And he is pictured here with some, I guess, I think three other men. The Toronto Sun published this article. It says Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's office is tight-lipped over a photo of one of his opposition critics posing with two people wearing slogans against measures addressing sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. So you can see the two men here are wearing "Leave Our Kids Alone" t-shirts with the Canadian flag, and they're shielding some children with umbrellas from, I guess, raining pride. The little slogan at the top, I guess, their right of their shirts. And so this image, as Toronto Sun, I think it was Brian Lilly that wrote this piece here, or no, sorry, from the Canadian Press, Stephanie Taylor, wrote that the image shared to social media surfaced not long after Poilievre distanced himself from another photo in which he stood next to a man wearing a t-shirt referring to straight pride. And I think we have a little clip of that actually, because the media pushed back on Poilievre for that photo. And I mean, you're a politician, you're out mingling in public, you're meeting lots of people, you're shaking hands, you're not always aware of who's going to be there, who's standing next to you, who you're taking a photo with. I, for one, even, as someone who does not have as much notable recognition as someone like Pierre Poilievre, if I'm out at a rally or I'm covering an event and people recognize me, they want to introduce themselves, shake their hands, they want to get photos. I'm not always like looking them up and down at their attire to see what they're wearing in that instance. And so I imagine that something like that is just so much more amplified when you're a politician. But regardless, yeah, here it is. There's that guy there is wearing a straight pride t-shirt. And I mean, unless you're like really narrowing and zooming in on his t-shirt, I, at a quick glance, wouldn't read or see what was on the t-shirt there. And I'm not trying to dismiss scrutiny or say that you shouldn't be more aware of your surroundings as a politician and in public events. But I'm just saying something like this just seems way overblown, out of proportion. I don't personally think it's a huge deal either way. They want to see politicians parading around with pride flags and supporting these ideas. Well, why can't someone say, well, I'm proud to be straight and I have straight pride? That doesn't, to me, seem like there's anything harmful or hateful involved in that. But regardless, the mainstream media journalists decided that this was something that needed to be scrutinized. And so they pushed back against Poilievre. And I really just liked his response here that he gave.
A man showed up in Alberta with a straight pride shirt, posing with politicians for photo ops. What do you say about that kind of messaging as people from the LGBTQ plus community are fighting for equality in Canada?
I don't agree with that shirt.
Just a way to like completely disregard and just move on. Like, I don't even have time for this is kind of how I read this. I disagree with this shirt. I mean, whatever, if he disagrees or not. But I see this as just a way for him to completely brush this aside, basically say, I don't care, and move on.
And by the way, one of the men in picture with the Conservative MP, I think his name is Shastra Singh Alan. Sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly. But the man on the picture is Mahmoud Moura. It was also the one who did publish the video where we see Mr. Trudeau being challenged by a Muslim father. And he's the one who did also participate to the Muslim protests, like the parents raising up to protect the children also. So I just want to say to you, everybody, that an interview with him will follow with me. So if you are interested to hear his side of the story, what he think about Justin Trudeau policy and everything that surround what we see as a controversy right now, don't miss my report. will be probably published this week.
And actually, our Calgary reporter, Adam Soos, did an interview with, sorry, what was it? Mohammed? No, what was his name? Alexa?
I
Mahood. Oh, sorry,
don't-
Mahood Mora. He did an interview with him at an LGBTQ counter protest at Calgary City Hall last week. And so for anyone who's interested in checking that out, maybe we can I'll put the link here and we can just show it on screen quickly, because he's been a very vocal advocate against the indoctrination and proliferation of sexual ideology into our school system. These parents are being called far right and hateful by school boards, teachers unions, by our very own government. We'll share with you in just a moment. But these parents are basically saying that under the umbrella of sexual identity and gender orientation, children are being radicalized sexually through these inclusivity and diversity and tolerance ideologues. And they're being, it's a slippery slope, because again, this is all ambiguously worded pieces of legislation, but guidelines that are given to teachers and principals and school boards. And it's really up to the interpretation of the teacher, how they will interpret the curriculum and then teach it. And so we see some of these teachers have become so radicalized and showing these kids basically pornographic content in school. There is one particular story called Identity or Identify, and it depicts pedophilic incest, and it is absolutely disgusting. It's been made available in public schools and Catholic schools, in the high school libraries, made available to children, and parents are fed up. They've been kept in the dark. These curriculums have been kept secret from them. It's not adequately disclosed. And parents, rightfully so, are saying, what's going on in our school system? They question whether or not this is appropriate, and no one is able to give them any answers. So they're becoming increasingly frustrated with the boards, the teachers, and now, of course, the government. But we have here recently Justin Trudeau, our fearless leader. He's blaming American right-wing politics for Muslims opposing the LGBTQ curriculum with shirts such as those that were pictured, "Leave our kids alone." And this is just absolutely asinine that our leader is politicizing parents who just want their kids to be left alone from radical sexual indoctrination.
That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.